Yo, we back. Fly Free Sports. We gonna kick this off. Brought a little help with me tonight. Kicking off this NBA season, a little preview. My man Day One, my man Ben, brother-in-law. He was on here last time. Y'all probably remember him from last time, but we gonna get into some basketball talk tonight. Nothing too crazy. We supposed to have some other people, but I don't know where they at. You know what I mean? So we just gonna rock. We just gonna rock out like that. Whatever. Um, maybe they'll pop out midway through the stream. You never know. Let's see what happens, man. But what up, fellas? What up?
What's up, man?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. We're gonna get y'all thoughts on first and foremost. Who y'all team? Who is the team y'all rock with heavy? Like, if you had to pick a team that you rock with, I know everybody ain't got no favorite team, but who you rock with?
You start, Dave.
Well, wherever LeBron go, we know that's I'm
Oh
a
my
LeBron
God.
fan, but you know what I'm saying? But I ain't your typical LeBron James fan, bro. I don't sit here and be gassing up things, but I'm a LeBron fan. And my team is the Knicks, so that's another. You know what I'm saying?
So if Knicks play LeBron, who you got?
I got LeBron. It's sad for me.
Oh, come on.
Bro, LeBron is the reason I started playing ball, bro. Can't, hey man.
Yeah,
Hey,
I ain't mad at that.
it is what it
I'm
is.
just keeping it being with you, bro. Can't, bro.
All right, Pimp Cup. Who you got?
So I don't have an official team now. I followed the Pistons as a child because I'm from Detroit, but and I like when they win because that's home. But I'm more of a fan of like players and systems, and so I'm a big Steph Curry fan, and I
Can't
like
go
the
wrong.
Warriors. I like the Warriors system, how they play basketball. I like their system of basketball a lot, and how they this organization and how they do things. So
Cool.
yeah,
Everybody know where I'm at with it. Grizz, you know what I mean? Ja, 12, Bane, Triple J, the boys, man. I'm a retired Kings fan. Them niggas they went 20 seasons. The last time them niggas made the playoffs, I was 20 years. I was 19, I think, or some shit like that. But yeah, so I retired them niggas, and then ironically, they go to the playoffs for the first time since then last year. So I've been with the Grizz for like 3 years. But
yeah. Yeah, the Lions
anyway,
did the same thing to me. As soon as I stopped following them, they want to start
they
acting
get
right.
good, right? Yep. That's how it normally happens.
I can understand why Fly Free hate LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Why you say that?
Y'all got bounced out of the playoffs by them. So,
I hated LeBron way long before that. Like, so that just added icing on the
hey,
cake.
man,
You know what I mean?
you know what
Like
I'm saying, man? Hey,
I ain't never rock with LeBron. Like, but yeah, I mean, I respect him. Like I always say, I respect his game, but I'm not a fan. Like, I don't know, I respect the shit out of him though. But anyway, on to these, man. Are we gonna do the Eastern Conference, man? Who you guys think is coming out the Eastern Conference? I know it's been a lot of shakeup in the East with Dame going to Milwaukee and Drew going to Boston, Kristaps Porzingis on Boston. It's been a lot of movement. Some teams haven't. The Knicks, like we were just talking about the Knicks really didn't make too many moves. I don't even know who they added in the offseason, honestly. Yeah, the Cavs, they kind of fell off in the playoffs. The Knicks beat them. But they were contenders. Like I think they had like one of the best home records in the league last year. And I don't know what happened to them in the playoffs, but they shrunk, got put out. So I guess Cleveland will be around. Who else was competitive in the East? It was probably like them 14.
Yeah.
But let's get y'all thoughts. Oh yeah, the Heat. Obviously, they didn't win the Eastern Conference Finals yet. But obviously, it was a reason I probably didn't mention them. They didn't do much in the offseason either. They kind of lost guys. So
lost bad.
Yeah. So
And
let's get y'all thoughts.
Star player looking crazy out there too.
Oh,
ain't gonna talk about it, but
nigga had a just for me in his head. Like this nigga bugging out.
I don't know what he got going on.
Man, Jimmy Butler is the sixth heartbeat. I tell you, boy,
He gotta be.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kane.
The new
That's what
Dennis
I'm gonna
Rodman.
start calling that. I'm gonna start calling that nigga Jimmy Kane.
I think
Word.
Dennis Rodman.
Oh, Jimmy David Ruffin Butler.
My goodness, man. Like that nigga showed up the media day wrong.
Yeah. So I'll start there because I think that the East it's a 3-horse race in the East. It's Milwaukee, it's Miami, and it's Boston. I don't think there's any other team in
No
the
Philly.
East.
No.
No, James Harden is not to be trusted. Period. Like that's
Absolutely.
Joel
that
Embiid
he is
too.
not to be trusted. And the amount that they're paying him, it seems like he's willing to accept a lesser role than he did before. The problem is he's got a max salary, but he's almost like slightly above role player now. So it's good. It's challenging for you to try to get trades or improve the team when you committed that much money to someone who's probably the third best player on your team now, behind Embiid and Maxey. So it's going to be tough, and they haven't really made a bunch of moves in the offseason either to improve that team. So
Nope.
I think they're going to be losing pace against the rest of the group. Now, you talk about Eastern Conference best candidate for MVP. I still think it is Joel Embiid, just because of the way that they run the offense through him.
Right.
Like he's going to get 30 and 15. Like that's going to happen every night.
Yep.
So East, in terms of the East, I still think he is the top MVP candidate because he really doesn't have to share scoring responsibility with anybody else on that team,
Except for Maxey.
except for Maxey. But they're going to defer to Embiid. The offense goes through him.
Yeah, they
right?
run. Yeah, right.
So it's that's obvious in Philly. Very different story when you look at, for example, Milwaukee. Um, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the dynamic with Dame and how they're going to adjust how they play around his game. I don't think it's going to require a ton of adjustment because they've got a lot of flexibility on that team. They do a lot of kind of perimeter stuff to kind of play off of what Giannis is doing down low. So I think there's going to be something interesting to see there. But I think the other thing with the Bucks that people aren't talking about is the addition of Cameron Payne.
I didn't even know that until the other day. Like I didn't realize he was on the team till like a couple days ago.
Yeah, there's been quite a few trades and stuff happening, and a lot of things that are still occurring in the league. I think we should not underestimate the impact that he's going to be able to have in kind of that off guard position.
I agree.
Playing for them. That's going to give them a huge boost, and it's going to be a nightmare for teams to try to stop them now. Now, defensively, they're not as good as they were last year. They lost a lot on the defensive end. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how the coaching makes the necessary adjustments in order to make up for that. So, but probably I would say they're going to be so hard to stop in the half court. It's gonna be so hard. Like how do you deal with that, right? True three-headed monster. So the Bucks, they're gonna be really hard to deal with. I think another team that's gonna be really hard to deal with is Boston. Now, based on history, I think that the Bucks are probably more cohesive of a team than Boston is. Their chemistry seems to be a little bit stronger, but you're adding Drew Holiday and Porzingis.
My God.
Yeah, like
that boy Drew.
Yeah, I mean, when he's healthy and he's motivated to play, he is an absolute beast, and he's still in his prime. So
my thing with Drew was, not to cut you off, but Jimmy Butler went crazy on him in that series last year. So I mean, I know he's still Drew, but it has been, evidence that you can get big buckets on Drew at times. Like he will have his down games where you could get off. Like
I think
brings it.
Jimmy Butler, the size difference that he has on most guards is really underrated. Like he's a bigger guy than what people realize he is. And so he plays that advantage. He reminds me a little bit of MJ, just how big MJ was and how
Mike's
fast
son.
MJ
Mike's son. You already know.
Yeah,
like,
Mike's son for real.
Yeah, exactly. But MJ was fast, like straight line speed. That was one of the most underrated things about how fast he was, right? And Jimmy has like a lot of those, I don't want to call them intangibles, but just things you don't really realize about his game, about him.
He just don't make it look as pretty as Mike did. Mike made it look good too.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I ain't a Mike fan, but watching them highlights, Watching them highlights, man.
Yeah.
So the thing with Mike is like so I'm I got all this gray hair, right? I was born in the 70s. So Mike was winning championships when I was in high school. So like being in high school and watching the finals, like it's we knew that we had something special with Mike way before he retired, way before all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
Like you knew. And again, I'm old. I remember Magic and Bird. Like I grew up watching Magic and
See,
Bird and hating them.
that
Right.
was
Because I was a Pistons fan. I was
I was
like,
just
go
born when
Isaiah.
they was playing.
Yeah. But growing up with the Pistons and they're trying to beat the Celtics, finally beat them. And then Isaiah got hurt. He sprained his ankle in game 6 in the finals against the Lakers in '88. Man, when they lost that game, man, whew, that was a sad day.
Yeah.
That was a
So
sad 108 to 105. I never forget that game 7.
yeah, my
But
earliest memories of Mike was '93 when they beat Phoenix. Like I was watching, but I was young. I was probably like 7 years old
yeah,
during that finals. But I remember it vividly though. Like he's different than everybody else that's on the court right now. And as I got
yeah.
older, by the time he won his last championship, I was almost a teenager. So like I was fully engaged. Like I remember we used to have basketball practice. I used to rush home just so I could watch the Bulls. Like
Yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
yeah, I was on that type of time. Like in
Man.
'98, like I was
What?
at basketball practice. I remember like them nights. Like I'm like, yo, I got to get to the crib. TNT Mike playing tonight. Like I remember that. Like
And you wanted to get there early because you wanted to hear that song.
yeah,
That
yeah.
really was like a real thing with that song.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, they didn't make it for the Bulls, but they
But
just
it kind of just
but
became like
yeah,
their little thing.
yeah. That was their signature thing when they come out. And
Uh-huh.
like you heard that song in the 90s, you knew somebody about to get their ass kicked.
Yeah,
Like
somebody about to get their ass whooped. Yep, facts.
what they say in training day, you about to get your shit pushed in.
Facts.
I don't mean to cut y'all off, but to piggyback on Mike, I ain't gonna lie. I had Kobe, but watching these highlights, man, Mike made the game look very beautiful. I think that's with me. I think that's where it separates with him and LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Me and Justin be
Yeah, we
arguing
talked
a
about
lot.
that. Yeah, we talked about that.
We argue a lot about it, but when it comes to just playing the game, I feel like Kobe and Mike just had that
They made it
beautiful.
look
It
graceful
made it
and
look
shit.
good. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And a lot of people can't have both things be
that
dominant
nigga
and have
that nigga
like
LeBron coming
language.
through.
Yeah, and then his dribbling skills. I mean, one of his flaws. I just don't like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Dribbling
so.
is not it.
LeBron, I think with LeBron, I give LeBron props because I think that the impact that he's had on the game, I think it rivals the impact, like the way that he's changed basketball, the impact he's had rivals what MJ did. And here's what I mean by that. The era that MJ played in, they instituted so many rule changes for people trying to stop him, and eventually he actually exposed a lot of kind of dirty tricks like the hand checking and stuff like that
Mhm.
that defenses are doing to try to slow him down.
Right.
And the whole league really instituted this more physical style of play to really stop the Bulls on their run, and they ultimately couldn't because the Bulls became better at
Right.
playing defense than everybody else. And so,
Yeah.
but what they realized was, well, this isn't very interesting to watch now that Mike is retired. So then you started to see the rule changes, getting rid of making
Helping the
zone
offense.
defenses legal,
Right.
3-pointers becoming more prevalent, pulling the 3-point line in. They wanted to, after he retired, it's like we want to open the game up. With
And they did
LeBron,
that.
and they did that. With LeBron, LeBron really ushered in the era of the super team, right? And the balance of power. LeBron, I would say that LeBron is single-handedly responsible for shifting the balance of power further away from the teams and the
Into the
owners and
players.
more into the players.
True. That's the
Um
truth.
more now Mike kind of started it, but that really was just Mike, right? Like
Right.
he had power, but
They actually
that didn't
follow
really
LeBron's
translate.
lead.
Yeah, like LeBron opened it up for all of the superstars to be able to get more leverage, to be able to get paid more, and now they have a commissioner that's more player friendly. So now that the floodgates are open, and the
Stern
experiment
was
worked for a little while, but and Justin, you pointed out before we started, we've had 5 different champions in the last 5 years,
Right.
and I think the era of super team has kind of run its course. and I think we're going to continue to see that. The league is really leading a lot towards more parity, where you
Yeah,
see more balanced teams and a
it's
more
definitely
even
more
chance.
parity.
I don't know
Yeah,
the way how KD be moving. He be getting blessed.
yeah. They kind of got one out there in Phoenix, but this, I mean, to me,
It
well, we'll
all
get into
it all
that in a
depends
little
on what
bit.
they do.
Yeah,
But
we need to talk about Phoenix. Let's stick a pin in that. We'll talk about them later.
yeah, we'll talk about them for
Real
sure.
quick
So
too.
so Ben, real quick, who you got coming out the East?
This is really tough because I think it's the Eastern Conference Finals. I think is going to be Boston and Milwaukee. I think it's going 7 games. I think Giannis pulls it out in Game 7.
They Dame
That
That's my
pulls it
pick for
out.
the East.
sounds about right. One, who you got coming out the East, man?
You know who I'm rocking with. I'm going with Dame Dollar. Going with the Bucks. Gotta go with the Bucks. I mean, I love Drew. I love what Boston doing, but Jason Tatum, we know him for getting wild. We gotta see how they play, gel together, but I don't think it's enough to get against Giannis and Dame. I don't know.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people saying, Porzingis, but we don't even know if Porzingis is gonna be healthy by then,
Yeah,
and
he gonna
it's
get
kind
cooked. So
yeah,
the thing about with Giannis too is now that you got a shooter out there in Dame and Chris. So it's all about how Chris comes off and you got Dame. So Giannis
right.
don't have to try to shoot. I mean, that's what Miami got him a lot is taking away that drive in and all that away from him. But now when he kicks it out, he driving
Yep,
in, you already got double team. So now if he kick it out, you got to worry about Chris and Dame. And they
right.
gonna knock it down, especially Dame. So don't let him
Yeah,
get comfortable and start.
I
It's gonna
agree.
be it's gonna be a sad night.
I agree with that. And I think, you mentioned Chris Middleton. I think if Chris Middleton returns to the Chris Middleton of a couple years ago,
It doesn't even have to be that crazy though. It
right.
just
I
he
don't even
returns knocking
yeah,
them
if he
shots
Right.
down.
right. If he's the regular Chris Middleton, I don't see them losing. And then another thing I like about Milwaukee is they have so much size. Like you got Brooke Lopez in there,
Mhm. Yep.
Bobby Porter's cookout. Ben always say he the nigga on the grill at the cookout. He look like that nigga. He work at the post office.
Yeah, he just looks
But
like a responsible dad.
And I
yeah,
think
but Bobby Porter's could hoop though.
I
Yeah.
feel like there's another thing to watch is how Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown gonna start moving together because after last year, Jalen Brown had his little run too.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's another thing we gotta talk about. I
Jalen
feel like Jalen
Brown.
Brown don't get a lot of credit. You know what I'm
Jalen
saying?
Brown, I like Jalen Brown, but man, his turnover, like his propensity to turn the ball over is crazy, and that really
Yeah, that's
showed
one of
in the
his
playoffs.
problems.
That played a big hand in them losing that series with Miami. I don't know what the hell is wrong with his ball handling. Like
Some
I
people
don't
just
know,
not meant
but
to play point guard, man.
yeah,
It
they
wasn't
need to
him.
take less responsibility off, more responsibility off of him, man, handling that ball. And I
Yeah,
know Tatum,
I think what's happening with them, both of them, is they have this hero ball syndrome,
yeah,
There we go. Thank you.
right? And
they do.
I
Mhm.
blame Kevin Durant for this, right?
Yep.
And LeBron is somewhat to blame also because he tends to play like this in times. But KD is like he is the patron saint of hero ball, right?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And
Don't do nothing
I
else
think
but play hero ball.
yeah, and so you think about all the players in that line. So, you
Kyrie
know,
too.
Kyrie, James Harden, like
Oh
these are
my
hero
God,
ball guys, right?
Luca.
Luca, very much so. Russell
And
Westbrook.
don't play no defense.
None.
That's I see a lot of that in Tatum's game and in Brown's game, right? They try too hard to just put the whole thing on their shoulders. And
Yep.
really a lot of people want to blame MJ for that. But when you really watch MJ knew how to pass in clutch moments,
But the
right?
thing about him though, he was so efficient with his. It's hard to blame a
Right.
nigga that's shooting 50%. Like if you shooting
Yeah.
50% and
And
most of your
getting it.
game, right, and
Getting
most
it
of your
done.
game is predicated off of mid range, and you doing that at a
Right.
50% clip. What can you say to a guy like that?
He
Like,
be getting it done.
Yeah.
Can't
these
say
So
new
nothing. He
guys,
get
they
it
want,
done.
especially Jason Tatum. That's like one of my biggest things with Jason Tatum. He takes a lot of bad shots. He settles
mhm,
too much. He don't put
yeah,
enough. If he put more pressure on the defense, especially with his size, he can get to the
yeah.
rim. I think he's one of them guys that could get to the rim at will if he wanted to, but he just doesn't. He
Mhm,
settles for a lot of threes and just contested shots and all that kind of stuff. But
But I feel like
that's been my
that's
big problem with Jason Tatum.
but that's why I feel like when the Warriors, everybody trying to copy and mimic what Steph and Clay and that whole organization do. Not everybody
Mhm.
can just worry and just settle on threes, y'all. You
Right?
gotta get in that paint, gotta play ball, bro. Everybody want to just settle for threes.
Yeah.
You know Boston's problem? There's not an alpha in Boston.
Nope.
They don't have an alpha.
No.
That's the problem. So you've got all these players that play together well. Their system of ball is okay, but you don't have an alpha that says this is a guy everybody listens to him, right? When you think about the true champions, like the Nuggets got a fucking alpha, okay?
Yeah.
The
Yeah. I
Nuggets
mean,
got an alpha.
Which one though?
no
'Cause I feel like they
mistaking it.
got two.
Yeah,
Oh
they
no,
really
To
got
Jokic,
me,
two.
to
Jokic
me,
is the
really
alpha.
two, because Jamal Murray, he got a time. It's over for you if
So
you let him get
from a
hot.
talent standpoint, they're both incredibly valuable. But in terms of the alpha male, that this is the leader
We're
of the team,
following
everybody
you.
listens to
Yeah.
him.
Right.
Everybody follows Jokic, right? The Lakers, first of all, LeBron's been the alpha everywhere he's been since he was a rookie, right?
Yeah.
I'm the alpha. This is my team. I'm the one leading us, telling us what to do, right? And the Warriors. Now, the Warriors are one of the most like egalitarian teams, unselfish teams, but Steph Curry is the alpha of that
Right.
team. Like that is Steph's team,
Right.
no doubt about it. Miami, Pat Riley.
Pat Riley's the facts.
Pat Riley is
Facts.
the alpha of that team,
Facts. Yep.
right?
That's definitely a
And coaches can have that like those Bulls teams. Mike was clearly the alpha, but even he listened
Phil.
to Phil,
Phil.
right?
Right.
So he had respect for Phil. When you look at the '04 Pistons that won the championship, and the coach's name is escaping me already.
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown, alpha, right? He was the orchestrator of that, right? And so if you're going to be a championship team, you got to have an alpha that everybody looks to, and I'm the leader of this team. And the Boston
Yep.
lacks that. If they are ever able to establish that, I think that they will be a champion, but I just don't see it happening.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's what they had one, but they fired him. So man,
Yeah. That's
I feel
true.
like
Ime
they
was the
had
alpha.
one, but
Yeah.
they fired him.
That's a very good point. It's
You
a very
talking
good
about
Ime
what's his name?
Udoka.
Emmanuel Doku.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So
Because
Udoka
he
he was
immediately
taking
got results.
he
Man,
was
this
taking
Blame
his
different.
alpha in the office. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. He took his shit to the front office. Facts.
That's not. Yeah.
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 So
So
you're right.
yeah.
You're right. Also a good that's also a good topic, man. Because a team that I'm gonna talk about in a minute doesn't have an alpha. But so everybody got Milwaukee. Yeah, I got Milwaukee too, by the way. I just think
Mhm.
there's too much size, yeah, too much shooting. We didn't mention Pat Connaughton coming off the bench. We didn't mention they got
Can't
yeah,
afford a double team, bro.
you can't you
Can't
you
afford
can't
not a
double
double
team
team.
nobody.
Can't.
Right. Yep.
So, that floor gonna be spread, and there's gonna be Giannis coming down the middle. And Giannis got better with his playmaking recently too. Like the last couple of years, he's been better at passing the ball and passing out of double teams and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I
I
hope,
think
man.
Milwaukee is super dangerous.
They
Like
better figure out who gonna guard Giannis and Brook Lopez, because Al
that's
Horford
tough.
ain't going to.
That's tough. And then you got Brook
And
Lopez.
they
He
lost a
also
lot of their
spreads
big
the
men.
floor. Yeah,
Lost a
yep.
lot of their big men.
Brook Lopez spread the floor, hit threes. I mean, it's a lot to deal with. He's 7 feet. Like he clogging the paint. He played good
Yeah.
defense. I mean, so
I'll
that's
say
a lot to worry
20,
about.
They're going to
21
win the
through 30.
rebound battle all 82
Damn near
games they play.
right. Yeah, that shit is
You're not getting
it's
rebounds
terrible.
against that team.
Yeah, so we're
Porzingis,
gonna
man.
shift over to the West. We all got Milwaukee coming out the East. I'm sure a lot of people will pick Boston too as well, but they ain't here. So let's
Nah, bro.
let's shift over to the West. Of course, the Nuggets are the world champions, man. It's gonna be hard to dethrone them for sure. I mean, we just talked about Jokic and Murray, and KCP is a guy that slept on. He don't get talked about enough, I don't think. Aaron Gordon, he stepped up crazy, especially in the Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
All them guys, Michael Porter Jr., he's inconsistent, but when he on his game, it takes them to a completely different level.
Lost another key piece, Brown.
They lost Bruce Brown, but I think he could be replaced. If you had to lose one guy at that core, I think that was probably the guy to lose. I think he's probably the easiest to be replaced, even though he did have a good
It's a little
playoff run.
tough.
Yeah.
Because he made up for what Porter. When Porter was not playing good, he did make up, and he brought that. He gave that energy off. Like
he did for sure. But I think out of all them guys, though, I think he's probably the easiest to replace. Still in the West, we got Sacramento had a great season. I mentioned them earlier. De'Aaron Fox leading that team. De'Aaron Fox was crazy last year. Clutch time.
Yeah.
Monk too. I like how Them two boys playing together, man.
Yeah. Of course, you got Memphis. You know, we're gonna talk more about them. The
Mhm.
Lakers, obviously, LeBron and AD.
Mhm.
You know, AD got the fresh contract. We'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Trash bin. Made out of
We'll see
paper.
where that goes, man. But like, just kind of like the East, man. It's about 4 teams that probably have a shot to get out of the
Mhm.
West. But I'm gonna get y'all thoughts on that, man. Let's see what y'all got day one. Let's get it, man. With the West, who you think coming out the West, man?
Uh, I don't know. It's really tough for me. I ain't gonna sit here and be like, oh, the Lakers. I mean, that's what I want to happen, but let's be
Right.
realistic about it. To me, I mean, I love what Memphis is doing, but I got to see what they're doing. Ja gonna be on his suspension, so we got to see how what's gonna happen. Them what is it? 25 games he's out.
25 games. Yep.
So we got to see what happens, and then Mavericks. Well, I don't even know why I brought them up. Let me go ahead and take that back. But the
They got them.
Suns,
They
we
got them
got.
2 killers over there, but that's about it.
That's almost like the same way we're about to say about the Suns. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's
True.
like Brooklyn all over again. Who going? You know what I'm saying? You got 3 ISO ball players who are or 3 people who need the ball in their hand at all times. So how that
Yeah.
gonna work? So I gotta see all that. But me, I think you gotta come correct when you're playing against Denver. So we gotta see they just gel too good to me, and they play fundamental ball. So I mean, it's up in the air. It's not like how the East is. So we gotta see
Right.
how they play with me.
That's good. That's a good point. What you think, Ben?
Yeah, I'm looking at this. So the Suns intrigue me. I was looking to earlier today. I think as of right now, they have like 19 players on their roster.
Damn.
I think they've had like 13 off-season additions. And it's obvious that they're building the whole team around Booker and KD. And KD is another one of those guys not to be trusted, bro. Like
At all.
like
At all.
I can't pick a team that's got him on it. Also, am I reading this right? Chris Paul now plays for the Golden State Warriors.
He
Do I have
does.
that right?
Yeah, we need
He
to get
does.
on that.
He does.
Yeah, that
I don't
shocked the hell out of me. I'm like,
It's
what is
weird.
this?
I don't
It's,
understand it.
it's
I don't
definitely
understand it at
weird.
all.
They might make it work.
Nah.
The
I
only
don't see it.
the only thing that I could see there is Chris Paul. For that deal to make sense, Chris Paul would have to admit that he's now a second. He's a second team point guard.
And he not there mentally.
Yeah.
Like hearing him speaking the off season, he like,
Dog.
I'm starting. Like
I don't. But how?
it's too small. That's too small of a
I
lineup. I don't
mean,
know.
to be honest with y'all, first of all, I wouldn't even want to be on that team if somebody did me dirty so many times I played you. That's another thing. I want to know where his mental at, knowing that the fact Steph done did you dirty so many times, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
and
figure where that's at.
it's
Yeah.
the first time in his career that he's going to a place where he's not the man,
Nope.
and he's past his prime. I think he'll be 37 or 38 years old this year.
He'll be 30. He's a year older than me. So yeah, he'll be I think he is 38. I think he's 38 now.
Yeah. So you're it's almost time's almost up for you. We know guards don't play into their 40s the way that forwards and centers can, right?
No.
Time's almost up. You're not the man on this team. You know, I know that with Jordan Poole's exit, that technically creates a spot on the roster for him to start. But to your point, I don't see Chris and 37-year-old Chris Paul and a 6'4" Steph Curry. I don't see that
That's
working.
generous. 6'4" is generous.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was in the Jordan Poole trade, was it Chris Paul that was the swap?
Yeah.
I believe so.
It was like a
It was
was
like
it
a
like a
14
I
trade
think
or
I could
something.
have sworn it was like a
it was the same. It was like a 3-team thing.
So me
Yeah.
how I'm looking at it is I mean you could get rid of Jordan Poole, but to swap for Chris Paul, nah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I don't. Maybe they were thinking like he could run the second unit or bring some kind of continuity with the second unit, because that's really where they struggled at in the playoffs. Like when they went to that second unit when Jordan Poole came in the game, like they kind of just got stagnant. So maybe he's not there so much for scoring, or maybe just to run the offense.
But to your point, if his mentality is I'm an aging veteran at the end of my career and I'm going to help this team win by running the second unit, it works. But if you come in saying I'm going to be the starting point guard for the Golden State Warriors,
that's not it.
Right?
It's not going to work. one of y'all got to play out of position because Steph is not a natural shooting guard, right? One
Right.
of y'all got to play out of position to do that. I
It'll
don't
be
see that
Steph.
as winning.
It'll be
And
Steph more than
I
likely
hope
because
hope Steve Kerr don't got him starting because that
he,
small ball he didn't learn from the USA he just had going on doing that small ball.
we gonna
Not gonna
see.
work, bro.
Yeah,
Get ran through out there, man.
yeah. So yeah, the Warriors. I mean, great organization. Love the way they play basketball, but the chemistry issues they have within that team is really what wrecked their season last year, and I don't see it getting any better this year. So, um, so for me, I think ultimately it's a two horse race for me. It's the Grizzlies and it's the Nuggets in the West. In
Oh,
my
you got
opinion.
the Grizz up in there?
That's
Okay.
crazy.
I think it's a two team.
It's
I don't think the
crazy.
Warriors are going to have enough. Their chemistry is going to hurt them down the stretch. I think they're going to struggle on the road again this year like they did last year. The Suns, I think they're headed for a first round exit this year just based on the amount of turbulence on that team. New coach, they got their whole roster's brand new. You
That
got
would
a
be
new coach trying to teach a new system to a bunch of guys that were playing in high school 2 years ago. Like
if they lose in the first
Who's the
round,
point
that would
guard?
if they lose in the first round, that'd be a fucking disaster. Like
Who's
that's
the point
way too
guard?
much to
because
lose in the
they're
first round.
I could easily see them getting a 5 seed and losing to the Sacramento in the first round. I
That's
think that is a staunch possibility.
that's
I think it's I just that's just what I see. I don't
I
they're not a serious contender to me. So to me, it's the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. Now, so first of all, the Derrick Rose edition is something that should not be understated. He saw quite the resurgence in New York. I think the last preseason game he had 13 points in 14 minutes or something
he
like that.
did.
He
He
need to
did.
get rid of Tom Thibodeau quick.
I think that I so yes, John Morant being out 25 games, that sounds on paper like a big blow, but number one, when you look at the record of how the Grizzlies played when he wasn't on
Without
the
him.
floor, they have a great record when he's not there anyway. And I really think that this resurgence in Derrick Rose, barring injury, is enough for them to weather the storm. And I think they'll still end up with the 1 or 2 seed this year, even with the suspension.
2 seed the last 2 years.
Yeah. So if
Triple
I'm
J got to
looking
come
at
in.
if I'm looking at best case
Yeah.
scenario, like if both of these teams play their best and they're at their best, I think the Grizzlies go to the finals.
Wow.
I see. I
I
think they can beat the
I
Nuggets
respect
if
that though. I
both
respect that.
teams are at their best and playing their best.
You caught me off
But
guard with this. I ain't gonna lie to you.
but if I'm betting money on which team I think is most likely to win the West, I think the Nuggets go back to the finals.
Okay.
I ain't
That's
gonna lie, man. Something about Ja when I watch him play, I see why Justin love him. But I don't know if it's far saying this. I think I'm going a little bit too far, but he has that mic of
Mhm.
like that when he
yeah.
plays, he makes people nervous. And
He just gotta be
yeah,
mentally there, man.
yeah,
That's all.
he does make a big change on the game, man.
Yeah.
It's a little scary, bro.
A fully healthy Ja is a big problem for the league. A fully healthy
Scary.
and focused, I'm gonna say healthy and focused, because obviously the off court shit that he be having going
Right.
on. If he could just block out the noise and stay focused on just basketball and what got him there, make the main thing, man. I mean, there's not much you could do with John Morant, especially as his jump shot keeps developing. Like, because you already know you can't keep him out the paint. Just not a
Yeah.
lot you
Yeah,
can do with him.
The Grizzlies are built a lot like the 90s Bulls was, except they're 5 years younger.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
So you got a young team. They play extremely well together. They got they play in a good system. They play on the defensive end. They make things happen. Or opportunities on the offensive end. You got a bona fide alpha dog in John Morant, right?
Right.
They've got the tools, which is why I say best on best. I don't think anybody beats the Grizzlies this year. But if I'm going off of history and which team I think is more dependable and the safer bet is going to be Jokic and the Nuggets.
That's fair.
I'm gonna
That's
say a
fair.
dark horse. I'm gonna say a dark horse, man. I want people to pay attention and keep a lookout. OKC. I'm gonna
Oh
say
yeah.
that. I'm gonna tell people to keep it just like how
Yeah.
Sacramento came by storm.
Yeah.
Everybody pay attention to
We
OKC because
we
them
talked about
boys,
that. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Like, especially with Chet coming back, 'cause they were good
coming,
last year.
boy.
That nigga Shea Gilders averaged like what 30 points last year or
Giddy,
something like
all
that.
them boys play team ball, and I
Yeah,
love it. So
Josh Giddey.
everybody better be careful, man.
You got the two Jalen Williams. Yeah, man, like them boys. Yeah,
Them boys out there playing ball together.
I like
Yeah,
OKC a
they
lot.
could. I mean, OKC. There's a possibility that they could if the Grizz or the Nuggets completely fall apart in the playoffs, OKC could potentially make a deep run in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they are a dark horse. That was a good take.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I like their game because Shad.
I think
Yeah,
New Orleans too. If Zion stay healthy, or
that's
because
not
them
gonna
niggas
happen.
got a squad, man.
It's not.
Like
I don't.
Zion.
It's
if
tough
they
though.
if they can stay healthy, I think they're gonna do a little damage too. But
They don't got no
that's
bench.
a hell of a dice roll right there, though, depending on Zion.
And the problem is Zion. He's paying whole tax right now on Mariah Mills,
Yeah.
and that's going to be difficult. That's a distraction. I think that's going to be too difficult for him to overcome. That and whatever the hell he's eating to where he's 350 pounds, however much he weighs.
He been looking
He
a
looked
little
like he
better.
lost some weight. He
Yeah, he
looked like
been
he
looking a
lost a little
little
bit of
better.
weight.
Yeah, he been running from Mariah.
Yeah. he been looking a little better
That's
for
another
sure, though.
key too is when
Yeah.
he sheds that weight, because weight is a part of his game and why he goes so crazy. So I want to see when you lose it, what can you do? Hope you're not Kevin
Yeah.
Love, lose all that built and then turn into nothing.
Yeah, I think so. He's the comparisons that I made when he first came to the league was Charles Barkley, and
Like a
Charles.
hyper athletic Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, now Charles could jump out the gym. Chuck could jump out the gym too. But yes, Zion is more athletic than Chuck was. But the Phoenix Suns Charles Barkley was the prime Charles Barkley, and because that was the fittest Charles
Yeah.
Barkley, that was the best shape that he was in when his career
MVP Charles
flamboyant.
Barkley.
That was MVP Charles Barkley. Zion can absolutely have the same impact. He can
Yes.
still impact the game, but like I watched that game at Duke when he like tried to do the spin move and like blew his shoe out. Like
That shit was crazy. Yeah.
like
Bust his
bro,
whole shoe open. Yeah, I remember
yeah,
that
it's
shit.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, the shoe malfunction. No, nigga, you 300 pounds trying to do guard moves. The shoe gave up on you. There's ain't
Nigga
nothing
said
wrong
the
with the
shoe
shoe.
malfunction.
No, man.
Gave up on you.
The shoe was like, fuck this shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I
So,
mean,
yeah.
but I had to bring them in because like early last year, I was saying like be on the lookout for New Orleans, and they started off like that. I don't know if y'all remember, but like 15 games through the season,
They're
them
playing
niggas
good.
was number one.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then like all the stuff started happening, and they just kind of just fell by the wayside. But I think if they stay healthy, Herb Jones and all them guys they got over there, Alvarado, he got hurt. He ended up getting hurt last year. Yeah, they got a little squad, man. Brandon Ingram, of course, that's my guy. I fuck with Brandon Ingram heavy. Like I always like Brandon Ingram game. So
Yeah.
we'll see what they do, man.
Yeah, when it comes to playoff time, the true one of the true separators for every team is playoff experience and championship experience. Right? When you go back to the 2019 Raptors, Kawhi Leonard's playoff and championship experience is what got them over the hump, right? 2020 Lakers, same thing. The Bucks, right? They had some really deep playoff runs. They were finally able to get over the hump. Warriors, don't need to say anything
Perennial.
more. Perennial, right? And then the Nuggets last year, right? Lots of players on that team that had playoff experience. They've been there before. They knew what to do. That's really going to be the separator when we get into the playoffs, and why I think that really I think it's really a 2-horse race ultimately. And when you think about championship, I would say championship projection or championship path, I think it's a two-horse race in the West.
Yeah, and I might sound biased, of course, because I'm a Grizzly fan. You know what I mean? So I make no mistake about it. I'm kind of along the lines of what you said, man. I think I do believe we have the talent to get there. It's just all about mentality and with these guys and who shows up in the playoffs. Because Jaren Jackson, I was super high on him, especially like the last 30 games of the season. Then we get into the Lakers series. He had a good game one, and then from there, it just went downhill. So my problem with Triple J is, man, for one, he doesn't grab enough rebound. He don't have that dog in him, man. We need somebody. I mean, Steven Adams being back will help. True enough.
Definitely.
He got that dog.
Yeah, he got it for sure. But we need the talented guy to have that in him, because Triple J got all the talent in the world, man. It's just he's a head case. He fouls too much. He just does shit that hurts the team. You know what I mean? Like you got to be on the floor to be effective. So
who he
that's
reminds
my
me
main
of?
thing.
This is a UFC analogy. Triple J reminds me of, I think his name was Steven or Stefan Struve.
Stroop,
You
yeah.
remember?
I
So
remember him, yeah.
so massive, big, tall, heavyweight, but he fought like he was a middleweight. He wanted to like do submissions and
Uh-huh.
jujitsu, get on the ground. Like, man, you 7 feet tall.
Right. Right.
Just knock him
Yeah.
out. You got reach. You're
But
not
he's
using
so
your advantage.
it's just he's one of them guys that's just frustrating to watch because you know what he can do, but he just doesn't do it. This
Yeah.
shit, it really pisses me off. But I like everything else about our team. Desmond Bain just got the super max contract, 200 million. I love Desmond Bain. Like he's a knockdown shooter. He's getting better off the dribble. You know, his defense is improving.
Yeah.
Our only question really is who's gonna take that next step, whether it's Zaire Williams or David Roddy or one of those guys gonna have to step up big for us to reach that next level. But I love what we're doing. Adding Marcus Smart, adding Derrick Rose, like you mentioned earlier. I think Rose is good for a number of reasons. Ja can look to him, when he need to look to him for advice or to keep him on the right track or whatever the case may be with Ja. He got 100 million things going on. So
Yeah.
I think he'll be good coming off the bench. Everybody seems to think like, he's just there to mentor Ja, but no, I think he'll contribute, especially with the year he just had in New York, where he didn't play, kept,
Get
his
6
body
million a year.
stayed fresh. Yeah, his body
Right.
stayed fresh.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
didn't really use him in New York the last year, so I think, like you said, I think we'll be a high seed for sure. Uh, I don't know if we could beat Denver though. I'm gonna be honest, like. I don't know. I don't think so, but the fan in me wants to say, "Oh yeah, we're going to the finals." But I
I
will
don't know.
say
Steve Adams bring it different.
Steven Adams does it
that
makes
mo-
it helps us match up a little bit better with Denver. I will say that.
with size, definitely.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna pick us, man. I'm gonna pick us to come out the West. Y'all both pick Denver. I'm gonna pick us. I think we'll have to do it in 7, I think, obviously, because I don't see us getting rid of them no sooner than that.
Yeah.
If at all. But I'll take Memphis, man. So yeah, I think that's who I'm rocking with to come out the
I want to
West.
see. I want to see what y'all do with Kenny. I really want to see him play this year.
I think he'll get spot minutes. I think hopefully he could get about 10 minutes a game to start off. Because Taylor Jenkins, that's another problem with Memphis to me. Taylor Jenkins, I'm just not a
Rotation is
fan.
bad.
I'm not a fan of Taylor Jenkins coaching, man. I think he's taken the team about as far as he can, but we'll see. Maybe Marcus Smart and that will make that much of a difference. I don't know. Anything is an upgrade over Dylan Brooks. So
Yeah.
yeah, send
Yeah.
his
That's
ass
what
to
you
Houston and
that's
get
what
him
you
out of
call
here.
addition by subtraction. That's what that
Yeah,
was.
that
Yeah.
alone, him being gone alone is good, and having Marcus Smart fill in for him is
Yeah.
top notch. So yeah, I'm
Because you
happy.
still need a crazy guy to like play psychological games with the other team. You just
True.
don't need him jacking up a bunch of bad shots.
Bullshit shots. Yeah, man. I watched every Memphis game last year, and it's like, bro, what are
Terrible.
you doing, man? Like he in his mind,
Terrible.
he's Mike. In his
Right.
mind, he Mike, like for sure. That nigga is trash. I'm glad he in Houston. Send that nigga far away. Like
Nah,
we
he
good.
trash juice.
Yeah, he's
Trash
Trash juice.
juice.
horrible.
Yep.
So yeah, man. So those are our picks coming out of East and West, man. So this is the hard part for y'all. Milwaukee versus Denver. Who y'all got? Ben, let's go.
Man, that again, that's another 7-game series for
It's
sure.
crazy.
This is very difficult. I think that when you got teams evenly matched like that, it's going to 7 games, and really it's going to come down to um, who can perform best in the clutch moments, right?
Right.
I think that 2024 will be Dame time, so I'm going to go with the Bucks in 7.
Ooh. Fair
He's
enough.
got a lot to prove. Huge chip on his shoulder. It's Dame. 2024 is Dame time.
Jamal Murray and
Sound good, man. Sound good. Who you got? One? Who you got?
you know me, bro. Bucks and 6.
Ooh,
Ooh, he said
6?
Bucks is 6.
6.
Bucks and 6 because I feel like with me, Giannis, that matchup with Giannis and Joker, we gotta see that. Dame and Murray, Giannis, we talking about chip on their shoulder too. A lot of people saying that Joker is better than Giannis. So,
Yeah, you right about that. That's
a lot of people saying that.
That's a good dynamic right there. Giannis. Right.
Remember, we said they were saying Giannis. Now Joker came in, put the whole world on notice. Is that I really want to see that because you got Jamal Murray and Dame. And you're gonna have Giannis and Joker. Let's see. I think that's one of the. I gotta see that, bro.
That's tough. That's tough. That's a good point. That's a good point you just made about Giannis trying to take his title back from Yoke, man. That's
a good storyline.
Hell yeah.
One. So what you gonna do, Giannis?
I agree with that. That's yeah. I like
Battle of Eastern Europe.
That's one thing I like about Joker. Joker gonna come with it. He gonna he don't care who's standing in front of him. If you take away his driving, he's definitely gonna pull up that ugly little shot behind us
and hit that shit too. Yep.
He's pulling up from where it's stepped from. I'm trying to figure out how Anthony Davis is just flying over him. So
on 7 foot niggas, pulled up on AD like
when you got a man pulling up like Steph from behind the head like this, but he's disrespecting you
at 7 feet.
Like, bro, he straight up.
That's hilarious.
He basically telling you not it, bro. So,
yeah, he violated everybody in the playoffs. That nigga averaged a triple double in the whole playoffs. Like that shit was monstrous. Like, yeah, Jokic was on a mission.
Very disrespectful, but I respect it. I respect it. Yeah. I'm glad he actually did it because I feel like Anthony Davis need to do something with himself because I'm glad he got embarrassed, bro. So
it might be good for him. Might be good for him, man.
Not everybody can shoot on the outside, man. You need to get in the paint. I feel like that's the problem with some of these big men. And Joker brought that back. Like even with Embiid, like Embiid has the body to get in the paint.
Right, and he's perimeter.
They think they Stephen Curry, bro.
He want to play on the perimeter and dribble and all that shit. Like in the 90s, niggas was banging. Like and Embiid is like the biggest nigga in the league.
Joker got down there and he said, "This was I want." He accepted the challenge. And he showed us every time that none of y'all can guard me. He blatantly said, like, I'm me. I'm gonna get down in this paint. I'm gonna destroy y'all.
And don't dare double team me because you already know I'm dishing, getting 12 assists. Like
if you peep, they could not stop the movement from him being at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the smartest thing I ever seen Denver do. Have him oversee his passing skills is crazy.
Yeah, Jokic in that high post is unstoppable. There's nothing you can do with him in that high post, man. Like either somebody on his team scoring or he's scoring 1-on-1. Like it's just or he going to the free throw line. Ain't but a couple options. But in my scenario, of course, I had Memphis and Milwaukee. I just think Milwaukee's too tough. I gotta be honest. The fan in me, whatever. Milwaukee wins in 5. I got them getting Memphis out of there in 5, man. I just like y'all said. We'll piggyback off of that. Dame got something to prove. I don't see them losing in the play. If they get to the playoffs healthy, there's just I don't think there's nothing anybody could do with them, man. I think they beat the Grizzlies in 5. So I got them winning it. We all got the same pick. So that's that.
Yep.
But who y'all got winning MVP though?
I said earlier, I think you're still looking at Joel Embiid for your MVP, just because he's gonna have to put the whole team on his back, and he's gonna 32 points, 16 rebounds, 4 blocks, 7 assists. He's gonna have another monster year.
That's respectable. It's respectable. Who you got one?
Ja Morant.
I don't think he's eligible.
But,
I think
but I'm saying how it goes with the 25 game suspension.
Yeah,
I would expect Ja to come in, and I would really expect. But if it ain't Ja, I'll probably.
I think the problem
can't say Dame.
I think the problem Ja has is going to be the same problem that Kobe had after all the allegations that he went through. I think he's going to go through some type of like shadow banning where people are going to secretly like
it already started a little bit
from him. Yeah. I think it's going to be this stuff with the guns. I think are going to be too much to overcome.
It already started because they had a list. ESPN put out I think it was ESPN. They put a list out on the top 100 players in the league. Guess what Ja ranked on the top 100 players? Just take a wild guess where he ranked.
Like 97 or something.
He's definitely put him low. Hundreds, probably
35th.
Wow.
He was 9th going in last year. So that just goes to show you whatever they thought about him off the court,
Yep.
He went from 9 to 35. That's crazy. There's no way in hell you can name 34 players in the NBA better than John Morant. It's just
I
that's
totally
ridiculous.
agree.
Like 35, that was obviously for off the court shit, but like you said,
I
that
totally
shadow
agree with
banning,
that.
man, it's coming. It's coming for him. I mean, he ain't got nobody
Yeah.
to blame but himself, but at the same time, it's just crazy how you could get penalized for shit that's not even basketball. It has nothing to do with basketball.
Yep.
But I
Yeah.
guess that's
If you're
just
already a media darling in a big market, you can get away with stuff like that. But small market in
Especially in
a black
Memphis.
city, and you
right.
got dreads with guns in
Not
a
Yeah,
happening,
they
bro.
they
a
about to get
liberal
you out of
environment. Yeah, no.
there. They about to get
Not
you out of there.
happening, bro. Getting
Yeah,
packed
don't.
up quick.
Yeah.
Yep. You
Getting
know how
packed
that
up quick,
go.
bro.
But my MVP, I'm gonna surprise y'all. Probably, maybe not, but I got Giannis. I
Okay.
think I think Giannis he's gonna benefit so much from Dame being there that it can only increase what he's doing.
Actually,
I just
I would agree with that. I agree
I
with that.
yeah, man,
I
it
agree
can
with
only
that.
benefit what he's doing, man. I think that lane is gonna be wide open, man. You're not gonna be able to collapse on him as hard as you used to be able to. Like
Mhm.
it's gonna be ugly for teams
Like he's
trying to
gonna
hold
average a
Giannis
double
this year.
double.
Yeah, Giannis gonna average at least he gonna
I
average
have
30 and 14 his damn self.
it
Mhm.
might
Yeah,
be a spooky season, man.
yeah, it's gonna
Might
get
be
ugly
Yeah.
in the
spooky.
East.
Can you just imagining a pick and roll situation with Damian Leonard and
Yeah,
Giannis? Like,
that's you can't guard that.
Everything.
how do you stop that? And Chris Middleton is sitting in the corner. It's like,
Yeah, that's
how you going? What do you do?
game over, man. Hang it up.
Man,
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
that alley oop, so I'm waiting to see that.
Oh yeah. It's
After off that roll, and Dame throw that in the air.
yeah.
Whoever under the rim, I'm sorry, bro, because there's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot
I'm
of
Sorry.
people
Yeah.
dropping.
It's a poster.
I'm just happy for Dame, man. He finally get a chance to get that championship, man. It's been a long time coming, man. But
I'm glad it's Milwaukee.
yeah, me too. Because they was
That
talking about
Miami,
Miami and yeah, I ain't like that.
no.
You know,
This
Miami
the
wasn't gonna work.
perfect. This the perfect situation because the attitude, the surrounding, the people,
Mhm.
Bobby Portis, every addition you got on there, they're coming with it. I
Yeah.
think they still got Jay Crowder on there too.
Yeah, Jay Crowder,
So
he gonna play a big role this year
a lot
too,
of got a
defensively.
lot of dogs, bro. A lot of dogs. They hungry.
Mhm.
I know
Yep.
Chris Middleton got a. That's another person that got a chip on their shoulder because they say
Yep.
he's
Yeah.
another man that fell up, but coming
And
from
he just
injury, it's not
re-signed too.
easy. Mhm.
Yep. He just
Yeah.
got a new
And then
contract and everything. So
just to reemphasize, I think the impact that Cameron Payne's gonna have on that team is gonna be better, more than what people think it's gonna be. Right? We can't overlook the positive impact he's gonna have on that team. So
man, and that's a guy that
I,
came a long way. Cause I remember back when he was he on the Bulls, when he was just like a guy that was just on the bench.
he was on
mhm.
OKC.
OKC, that's who he
I
was with.
remember
Okay.
OKC.
Okay.
He was with
I just
OKC on the bench, yeah.
I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. I don't really like his game.
Who campaign? He could
I
score his
don't really.
ass off.
I like his attitude though. I tell you one thing about him.
He not
I like the
scared.
fact that he's not
Mhm.
scared, but I don't. I
He
don't
got I like his mentality. He could score. I don't know, he's not gonna contribute much defensively, but outside
Mhm.
of that, I see what you're saying with campaign for sure.
I'm interested. I want to see it though, because I like his attitude. You just adding another person that has attitude. I don't give a fuck to the Bucks. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not, in my opinion, a first or second option, but
Right.
he is a great third option / role player, right? Like
Yeah.
he's like better than a role player, but that second unit guy that can get out and kind of help
yeah,
your second unit out.
I like them on
That's going to be a
Phoenix.
great addition.
I like campaign on Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, about the I know you mentioned the champions of the last 5 years, so I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
tap into that a little bit. Out of the last five champions, the Toronto Raptors of 19, the Lakers of 20, Milwaukee of 21, Golden State of 22, and Denver of last year, obviously. Out of those five teams, who would y'all have matching up out of those five? Who come if they had a little tournament? Obviously, they couldn't, do it with five teams, but if they had a little tournament, who would you say would be playing each other and who would win?
it's hard for me to with the matchup part, but I'm gonna go with the Warriors. To 22 Warriors, that statement, no KD. I love the fact how Wardell finally got what he deserved, and he letting people know that I've been doing this. I feel like it was very disrespectful to say that KD was just the whole reason and don't really. And I feel like he
Right.
got snubbed. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
being
mean,
Boston, being Boston and Wardell showing
right.
you, yeah, I can still do this without KD
Yeah.
proved a lot to me. So
We
I'm
talked
gonna
about
go.
that plenty of times. So who would you have
Yeah,
them? Who would you have them playing like in that game? What's the other team that you would have like?
like who they're like playing against.
Yeah, out of those teams,
That's tough. I'd probably say the Raptors. I'd
the
probably say the
Raptors.
Raptors.
You think the Raptors is
Probably.
better than the last year's Nuggets?
I think that Siakam. You talking about Siakam, Leonard? The way how he came in there and them boys play so different. I might. I'm not gonna discredit them because KD went down and Clay, but
So you basically
Kawhi makes a big difference. If y'all watched the playoffs last year, the way how Kawhi was in them first two games getting on KD helmet, it made
so
me
you
look at it.
saying
Yeah.
the 22 Golden State Warriors would get their
Yeah.
revenge on the 19 Raptors. That's basically what you said.
Yeah.
That's
That's
fair.
probably yeah.
That's fair. What you think, Ben?
Man, this is really tough because like you said, the Raptors beat the Warriors in 19. Now again, they didn't have KD, they didn't have
And
Clay,
Clay for the last game, yeah.
so that obviously is a factor. Um, the Lakers, I think the 20 Lakers benefited. They were able to benefit from the COVID shutdowns better than every other team, which is why I think they were able to win that championship.
I agree with
I
that.
think they were the best team in that situation, but
Don't care for
they're basically the same. They've been the same team since then, and they've not had anywhere near the level of success they've had now, injuries and stuff like that. When you look at the Bucks of 21, um, they're constructed very similarly in 21 to what they have been since, and I don't think that their lack of being able to win the championship or get back to the finals was due to really anything tangible. It just wasn't their year. That's kind of how I
Right.
feel about Milwaukee. So I still think that you're probably looking at the 21 Bucks and um the Warriors have always been great, but again, they're on the opposite side of the coin as Milwaukee, in my opinion. Like that 22 was just their year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything kind of came together and gelled at the right moment for them. And Steph just played completely out of his mind, beyond normal Steph levels,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he was ridiculous.
But that's, to me, that's kind of a, if the Warriors are playing the way they did in 22, nobody beats them. That's just kind of how I see it. But is it likely that they're going to play like that across all these eras? No, they're not.
No.
So I think that you're probably looking at the Bucks and the Nuggets, 21 Bucks and the 23 Nuggets. And I think the 21 Bucks win that matchup.
Yeah, you broke that down probably very close to what I was gonna break it down because I think like you said with the Lakers, I think the bubble championship, I'm not calling it a fluke or anything. A lot of people discredit it, but like you said, they were the best team for that style of play. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they older guys, they got all that time off, with COVID, and they came back and all they had to do was win a few games, in the bubble. It set up perfectly for them. I ain't gonna take nothing from them. They earned it, whatever.
Right.
They got the championship.
Yep.
That Raptors team, they were good, but they had a lot of fortunate things happen as well in that playoff run. What was the other team? Milwaukee. They were, like you said, they're constructed pretty much the same as how they are now. But they just played at a different level. Chris Middleton, I mentioned him earlier. He had a great run in that playoff run, especially in the Eastern Conference Finals. I remember when Giannis got hurt and he just iced the Hawks, like just got rid of them. And Denver, yeah, I got Denver playing the 21 Bucks, and I got Denver winning.
Okay.
I got Denver winning. I think Jokic, just the way he was playing last year is hard. Like averaging a triple double, like not even like a normal triple double. This nigga's getting 34, 16, and 12. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
there's nothing
Yeah.
nobody could do with that.
Yeah.
Murray right alongside
He
him.
had the Olajuwon numbers.
Yeah, like it was ridiculous. Like Murray right alongside him going crazy. Like that team, that's a special team, man. So I think I would have them playing the Bucks, and I got the Nuggets winning. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah,
this
man.
is hard, but I mean, I can't. Nothing that anybody said was like crazy to me. But this whole night, like these are
No,
really
you
good takes.
wait till some of these niggas get in here. They're gonna say something stupid. Everybody going.
Yeah, what's coming?
We can look at
So-
it, man. You sure? Good. You know this
Yeah,
is getting recorded, right? All right, cool.
So I want to talk about LeBron for just a second. A couple years back, I was doing some. So one, I'm a statistician by trade, so I look at a
Oh
lot
yeah, I
of
know.
numbers and stuff. No, I was letting one know that
Okay.
that's what I do for a living.
Oh no,
And I was trying to figure out, is there like a wall that statistically the NBA players hit? And I did this like 3-4 years ago, and I predicted that typically around year 16 to 17 is when players kind of hit a wall and their production kind of falls off. And I predicted that LeBron would hit that wall, around year 17, which I think was right before COVID happened. And LeBron has just been running through the wall, right?
Wall he broke through that wall.
he definitely outpaced it, but I
All-time
think
issue.
we saw the wall catch up to him in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
I think that's where we started to see he's just not the same.
No, he's definitely not the same.
It's not even that. He's just not Superman, bro. It is.
He's not. Well, the thing is, like, Father Time's undefeated, and he'll be 39 in December. And it's just, once the decline happens, it's pretty rapid for all athletes, especially when you talk about how physically demanding basketball is.
82 games.
Yeah, it's tough, and he won't play 82. We know that.
I don't even remember the last time he played 82 games.
I'm gonna say Justin, best line. That man said, "You're not finna beat the #1 team in the league. It's not gonna. You're just not gonna walk in there being the 8th seed and just think it's gonna pack them up. They've been gelling together. It was a wrap, bro.
The writing was on the wall with the Nuggets. I saw that shit probably like 3 quarters through the season. I was like, they're going to win the championship. They wasn't losing at home at all. Like, that shit was just, it was ugly.
Did the Suns very disrespectfully. So that's when it was over for me. I said, LeBron, I think this road is coming to an end. Yeah.
But I will say that I didn't know if I thought they would sweep the Lakers though. I thought the Lakers might get one game, but like after game 2, I was like,
After the first game, I knew it was coming. Bro. Because it's just the Lakers they're known for grabbing a lead, and Memphis was doing that a lot. So when I was seeing how they will have a lead, and you're letting Memphis, even without it, just coming back down on you. Oh yeah, when you face the Nuggets, you're gonna get waxed. It's over with.
Yeah,
you don't give them the opportunity. They had plenty of time to seal the deal, and that's what comes with gelling together, bro.
Going back to LeBron, like LeBron didn't play too good against us. I mean, he had the game winner in I think it was game 4. He had the game winner, but outside of that, like he really didn't do too much against us.
He wasn't crazy.
We just got killed by Anthony Davis, like defensively and all that.
Couple key games from certain key players. Like
D'Angelo Russell hit like fucking. I never forget it. I never forget it. It was game 4. We lost. Like we were up 9. D'Angelo Russell hits 3 threes in a row. I'm in the hotel room because at this time I was driving, so I'm in the hotel room in one of my stops. I'm watching the game. I'm in the hotel room going crazy. I think I lost like $400 on the game. I was so pissed off. I was about to tear the hotel room up. Like this nigga D'Angelo Russell hit 3 threes in a row in the 4th quarter and tied the game up. I was like, I don't believe this shit. And then LeBron hit the game winner.
I think without having Austin play the way how he played, Rui stepping up, and D'Angelo having his on and on.
Yeah,
to me,
Rui killed us too.
Rui, the key thing was Austin and Rui. If they don't play the way how they played, y'all would have backed up the Lakers.
Yeah, Rui destroyed us. Like the first couple games, like that nigga was going crazy.
I was trying to figure out who on the bench is going to put that energy in, and Rui came and hit some shots that
he did.
I'm really worried about the Lakers because
trash Ben Davis.
No, it's the problem that I see is, so think about the Lakers from the 80s, right? Kareem came over in the 70s and they drafted Magic, won a whole lot of championships. But Kareem started like when they won that last championship in '88. I think Kareem was like 40 years old,
He
right?
was. He was.
So he was clearly in decline, and he had years ago kind of passed the torch to Magic, right? Like by I think it was like around 84, 85. Pat Riley was like,
Mhm.
Magic, this is your team now, right?
Yep.
And Kareem passed that torch to him, and they were able to win more championship. They win like 3 titles after that because there was a clear torch being passed to the young Buck, and literally his nickname was Buck, to
Mhm.
move to take them forward.
Exactly what
I
you about to say.
LeBron has had the opportunity for 3 years now to do that with Anthony Davis, and he
And
hasn't
Davis
done it.
Been doing it.
and Davis don't want it,
He
man.
don't
He
want
just
it. Too soft.
So again, I see Davis as very much like a Scottie Pippen type character psychologically, where you got all the talent in the world, but you're just not ready or willing to really be that
not the
alpha.
alpha.
Nah,
Yeah,
you
he
just
just
you're not
And
it.
and you
yeah.
got Austin Reeves, you got Hachimura, you have all of these pieces around that you could really build a great team out of, but you got to have an alpha because your alpha is 39 years
Like
old.
right. The
It
reality
ain't
is
it ain't
the
cutting it no
reality.
more.
Right. The reality is they're supposed to be running that offense through Anthony Davis, but it's
That's
just
it.
he don't. He. I
Yeah.
mean, whether it's injury or mentality or whatever you want to call it, like he's not carrying that torch, man. It's just I don't
Yeah.
see it. I never saw it in Anthony Davis though. Even when he was on the Pelicans,
Mhm.
like I never really like. It's just mindset to me. Like
Yeah.
I never looked at him as one of them guys that's gonna take over a game. I mean, he's capable, more than capable. Like we've seen him do it, but on a
Right.
consistent basis, I don't see it.
That's why I always tell people when they say who's LeBron like best player that he ever played with, I tell people it's Kyrie because you had the moments even in the finals. It was like, yo, give me that shit. Like
Yeah,
this me. It's
Kyrie
like
had a couple games of 40 plus in that
yeah,
finals when they came back.
and that's what broke up. I feel like to me, that's what broke up that whole thing. It's almost like the Shaq and the Kobe thing. It's just that nah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
motherfucker, I'm the alpha. You
ego,
giving me the shit.
ego.
Like
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
it
my
was
alter ego.
ego.
I gotta do
Yeah.
it without you.
Yeah,
People always talk about like LeBron's block in Game 7, but for me, I think it
that
was a 3-pointer that Kyrie hit
Yeah, he did
down
on
the
hit on
stretch.
Steph.
That was the dagger.
Yeah, that was because I
but
remember
you know,
the game was kind of
you
like at a stalemate. Nobody was scoring like those last couple minutes, and then Kyrie ended up hitting that 3 over Wardell. It pissed me off. I lost money on that game too. Like,
I feel like that was my thing. Everybody went with the shot, but if you don't get that block,
oh yeah,
Iggy puts that in.
yeah,
It's over. Like
because
you
that
don't
would have
have
broke
like
because Golden State was on a drought at that time.
yeah,
Like that when
yeah.
he was going up for that layup, I think they
I
had
believe that
scored in
was
a couple
tied.
minutes.
I think
Yeah,
if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken, it's
the
the
game
tied.
was
block was
tied.
critical. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
That
block
block,
was is but it's very much like what it reminds me of. What was it? The '98 finals, the Bulls and the
mhm.
Jazz. Everybody talks about Steve Kerr hit the big 3-pointer that knocked the game. Was that no? Wait a minute.
That's
Michael
97.
Jordan
Magic
hit
hit
the
that
That
mid
was
range.
97.
but the play before that, Malone had it down in the post, and
And
MJ came around the
MJ never
backside
cleared
and got the
out, and
steal.
yeah, got the steal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a lot of people don't remember that was a critical defensive play that got the ball back on
oh
their
yeah.
side of the court.
Because that
He
shot
So
makes
he
it
never passed the
beautiful.
ball. He
That shot
yeah,
literally
makes it beautiful.
stole the ball and came down and wasted and dribbled the
yep,
clock down and then
yep.
rose up
He
like
he pushed Byron, whatever his name is, or Brian Russell.
Brian Russell.
He
Yeah,
pushed Brian Russell.
the 98 finals. I still remember watching that. Like I was supposed to be asleep. I remember that shit vividly. Like my mom was
Why
yeah.
was you supposed to be asleep? That was the summer.
It's
I don't
crazy.
know. Maybe had something had happened that night, but I do remember
What is
being
it?
in my room in the dark watching that, going crazy. Like when he hit that shot, I remember that.
I think
And
the
when
reason why
Bob
people
Costas, if this is the last image of Michael, I was like, yo, this is the most legendary shit I ever seen in my life.
It really
I
was.
think why people don't remember the plays before is because how the next thing is done. It's
Yeah,
like that's to put it away.
right.
You
Yeah,
get what
The
I'm
yeah.
saying?
only,
So
no,
Kyrie sizing down and looking
yeah,
Steph dead in his face, and nobody
and,
really
and,
expecting it,
and
and
rising up.
pulling up on him.
I think the only scenario that went the other way was the Giants Super Bowl in 07 when everybody talks about the Tyree catch. That's the lead up, right?
Yeah.
Nobody talks about Plexico getting the game winning touchdown. Like you rarely ever hear about that play,
But the
that
thing is,
fade in the
like,
back of his zone.
the Tyree catch was like the third miracle that had happened on that drive, right? There were so many like crazy fourth down situations where Eli was supposed to get sacked and made like a miraculous play. Like,
Brandon
that was
Jacobs
just,
got a little 4th and 1. He barely got a 4th and 1 early in that drive. Nobody talked about, but yeah, that's like the only scenario I could remember where nobody talks about the game winning play, but the play that happened before it.
Well, I think because Plaxico just, I mean,
he got shadow banned too.
The post slant. Well, with the gun,
shooting and stuff and all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
I feel like too, another thing, just to come off that a little bit, the topic, with going back to Mike with that play against the Jazz, although I wasn't alive when
this man wasn't born. You know how crazy that sound? Like he wasn't even born when this shit happened. Like that made me feel old as shit. Like
me being a hooper and admiring basketball is what makes it so dangerous, and what separates Mike from a lot of people is the moment. And the fact is that you knowing that the ball going to Mike,
right?
You know it's going to him, and you can't do shit about it.
Can't do shit about it.
It's like
he gonna score.
Like I said,
either he gonna miss it or he gonna make it.
Black Jesus, bro. The way it don't make no sense to me. That y'all make. I watched the highlight the other day, full of the Mike stuff, but the way how the person put it up, it's just it had me sitting there like, damn.
Oh, you talking about the one you sent me the other day?
Dude, I looked at that shit. I'm like, he really, bro. It's like, and then you hear the stories. See, I love hearing those stories between him
the player stories.
Like him and Kobe I love hearing those stories, because me as a basketball player, is the fact is that, yo, you just gave me buckets. Oh, you know what? I got something for him. It's like I love the stories with Kobe, that the fact is that he puts false things in narratives, just like Mike, and said like, to hear what's so crazy.
He creates the chip on his shoulder. Like
creates the fact that you thought it was a real story, but it wasn't. He just in his head like, oh, I'm finna violate this motherfucker. He talking that shit, but he probably was quiet. The man was quiet the whole time. He didn't say nothing.
Yep, ain't do nothing to him. You just made up an imaginary scenario in your head so you could go off on him.
That's why I gotta respect.
That's borderline psychopath shit.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's Kobe definitely had that. Mike definitely had that killer instinct where it's like, I'm getting the ball, nothing you can do about it. Another guy, I think that as much as people give him props, I think he's underrated with the props that he gets in terms of how good he was. Larry Legend, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Larry fucking Bird.
That goes without saying.
Very disrespectful. You got him guarding me?
Larry Bird,
the biggest
cash.
He was the biggest trash. Like, he would tell you the play ahead of time. He would tell you exactly what the team's about to do. Crazy. And then he would go out and do it and hit the three in your face anyway.
Oh, cash shit.
Damn. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. Did he tell a person, why y'all got this white boy guarding me?
I haven't heard that, but it don't surprise me.
It was something that he said, bro. I could have, bro.
Larry Bird,
Justin, I'll send it to you, but I could have sworn that this man told a player on the bench, why you got a white boy guarding me.
Larry Bird was a different breed.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Like,
if you think about how unathletic he was, he is the greatest player in NBA history.
for his amount of athleticism,
the amount of athletic gifts that he had.
And that's what always
athletically at all.
That's what always tripped me out. Is like, I heard people say, "Oh, Larry Bird wouldn't be able to play in this era." I'm like, so why the hell is Luka able to play in this era?
That's exactly
the perfect example.
It's right. If Luka could play, Larry Bird to tear these motherfuckers. He got more size. He's a better passer. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? He's a better shooter.
That's people that don't watch basketball.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, what do you mean Larry Bird couldn't? Jokic ain't athletic, nor is Luka. Like, come on, man.
I think that the Showtime, the show that they're doing on the Lakers, there's a scene where I think Larry Bird is trying out for the college Indiana State, and he walks in with like jeans and like working boots, and was giving it giving it to him in jeans and boots.
I always tell people, arguably, bro, man, basketball to me, how I look at it and I analyze it, man, that shit starts from Magic and Bird. Anything else, I don't want to hear shit about, bro. I don't want you to come talk to me, this and that.
So you don't want to talk about 70s?
Bob Cousy, however how you say his name. I don't want to hear none of that shit, bro.
You don't want to hear about McAdoo and none of them?
Because when you hear, I don't want Jerry West. I don't care, bro. I don't want to hear none of that, bro.
So the 60s is hard. Prior to 1970, it's hard to really talk about basketball because the Celtics were just winning every year.
A 3-point line.
And they didn't have a 3-point line, no shot clock. There are only 8 teams in the league, right? No free agency. So that you just have one team that's stacked and they just kill everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, bro.
The 70s is really the first time that you start to see like different teams start to emerge. Right. So this run we just had, 5 different teams winning championships. That's only the second time that's ever happened in NBA history. The
I
first
like it
time
though.
it's great. It shows parity. The
Right.
first time that happened was in the 70s. You had a long run where the Celtics won and then the Lakers won. I think the Blazers won a championship and then the Sonics won one. No,
Right.
I'm talking about the 70s.
Oh,
So it was like the Celtics, the Lakers, the Blazers, the Sonics, and like the Bullets. Like it was 5 different teams that won 5 years, 5 different years. But it's kind of the dark ages because basketball was kind of doing a bit of a downturn in terms of like viewership and popularity. That was right after the merger happened where all the ABA teams came in, and
When Dr.
it
J and
wasn't
them.
yeah, it was Dr. J, but it wasn't the game wasn't really translating, and really it was Magic and Bird that really transformed the
revived
NBA
the
into
game. Yeah.
those two basically revived the
Saved
whole
the
game and
game.
made it what it is.
And then
Saved
Mike
the
took it from
game.
there, and it was on.
Mike took it from there, yeah.
Yeah,
But now
Mike-
you talk about somebody that's getting the ball and you can't stop him, dude. Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar, man. Nothing you can do with Jabbar, man. Nothing.
If he gets to his spot and he start that dribble and get that hook shot, it's over.
It's good night, man.
You're not stopping it.
A lot of people sleep on Olajuwon too.
Oh, Olajuwon is in my top 10. Olajuwon in my top 10 still.
He has, it's arguably like when I used to study the game, there's certain things I would see, but that Olajuwon footwork. People do not talk about the footwork enough, bro.
Why you think Kobe went to him? Kobe went to him. Kobe was training with him.
LeBron did too.
LeBron, Dwight, all of them, and they had a lot of success right after.
You gotta go see Akeem, man. That's like a requirement if you're gonna be one of them guys with the footwork, man, for sure.
You know what? You know how you know Akeem is good? David Robinson is one of the greatest centers that have ever played in the NBA, and he got cooked on a regular basis by Hakeem.
Yep. Remember how Hakeem did Shaq crazy too? Like he did Shaq crazy.
Man. So Hakeem Olajuwon. Here's some stats for you. He is the only player in NBA history to have 2 quadruple
doubles. Yep.
He did it in the same month.
I didn't even know that happened. Yo,
quadruple double, bro.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you was gonna say.
Especially in that area, in that era.
Yeah.
Glide, all.
Just think about a quadruple. That means you have to get 10 or more in a
that's very disrespectful.
Right, either blocks or steals. There ain't no way around it.
You know how hard it is to get 10 steals or 10 blocks
or
in
10
a
blocks.
game?
Either one of those is crazy. It's crazy to get 5 of one of those in a game.
Right.
10 blocks.
We're not talking about the 70s when Wilt Chamberlain was grabbing 50 rebounds.
Right. We talking about like it was competitive as shit. Like they out there hooping for real. I remember when I never forget. I wanted the Knicks to beat them in the finals. I remember when they smoked the Knicks. In Game 7 with that John Starks.
Yeah.
Waste man.
Oh yeah.
I hooped against his son.
Night.
I used to bust his son ass. So we used to hoop in the league. Yeah, I bust John Stark's son ass. Like every time we played him, I gave him work in front of his pops. Like I gave that nigga work. Crazy work. I was 12.
Oh.
I don't know. Sometimes it don't transition to the kids right. LeBron kids and Melo,
he could
Carmelo,
shoot
somebody.
Like he could shoot. Like John Stark's son, he was just like him. Like he liked to shoot a lot of threes and all that shit, but he couldn't play no defense. I cooked his ass. I'm dropping 30 on that nigga every time I see him.
Weak.
But yeah, real quick though, what we got? Give me y'all top 5 all time before we get out of here. Top 5 players of all time.
Ooh.
Shit.
Matter of fact, you ain't even got to put them in order. Just the top 5 players you think in history, and just overall, any player. I'll let y'all ponder on that for a second. But you ain't even got to put it in order if you don't want to.
Well, I'll say I'll put mine in. I'll probably put mine in order. Yeah, that's tough.
I can't do order on mine.
Right. That require a little bit more thought.
Jeez, bro, that's tough.
No, I mean,
I'll kick it off. I'll kick it off. I'll give y'all time to think. I'll kick it off.
I don't gotta think. I'm gonna put mine in order.
Let me first and foremost, Michael Jordan, number 1 to me. The rest might not be in order. I don't even really Of course, Mike. No real weaknesses in Michael Jordan's game. Like left shoulder, right shoulder, pull up, fade. Excellent finisher. We know about his defensive prowess. I mean, defensive player of the year, MVP. What else needs to be said? Michael Jordan, number one.
Some crazy stats, bro.
Number two. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna put the rest in order. We just know Mike number one. I ain't even gonna put the rest in order. I definitely got Kareem in there. Shit. Oh man. LeBron is in there.
Oh, that's crazy.
LeBron is in my top 5. None of this is in order though. After Mike though, Kareem, LeBron, damn, Magic, yeah, Magic. What's that 4?
Yep.
I got one more. Damn. I want to say Shaq. Fuck it. Kobe. I'm tripping. Yeah, Kobe.
I was about to tell you, bro, what you got going on.
Yeah, Kobe. Kobe's in my top 5. Kobe's like he's number 2 overall. But yeah,
really,
Kobe.
I'm glad you said that too.
Yeah, I'm tripping. My mind.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted to say this, but I'm glad you said this last question and you just did that. I feel like, and I was gonna start off with Kobe too, because I don't think people understand that this man is a mirror. To take somebody's game and to a T, not one flaw, no nothing, and just replica your game at that.
Right.
I have to give you nothing but respect, but he gets overshadowed. He gets shadowed a lot because
of that.
Because of Mike. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna definitely go with Bean. One of my favorites, and never cried about nothing. Played broken fingers and stuff like that.
Warrior,
straight warrior. Yep. I'm gonna say. Oh, you already know. I'm gonna say Bron. I'm not even favorite player. I'm gonna say Tim Duncan, Shaq. What was that? 5?
That's 4, I think.
Yeah, that's 4. Tim Duncan and Shaq and Kyrie.
Kyrie.
I'm a Kyrie fan.
That's got to be your favorites. Like we talking about like top 5.
When I'm going, I'm gonna go off my top 5. And then my dark horse. I'm going off of who inspired me to do certain things, and I'm gonna say
that's fair.
I'm gonna throw a little 6 man in there. I'm gonna say AI because without AI,
the AI my favorite. AI is my favorite player ever. So that's
the swag, man.
That goes without being said. He's my favorite, literally. Like he's probably like my favorite athlete ever. You know, to take it even that far.
And then when I'm displaying my top 5, I'm just going off of what I learned and piggyback. Because my father used to always tell me, man, you need to go back and watch certain games. So when it comes to point guard position and stuff, I know Kyrie really is not as much of a point guard, but the dribbling skills and his balance and the way how he beats certain defenders, I really like that. Kobe, you already know that mentality of I'm finna run, like to literally come down on a fast break. Dude, I don't know what the hell he did. Put the ball behind his back and then
with a nigga reaching for it.
Then go, then turn around backwards and dunk on it, man.
Yeah, Kobe's he's my number 2 overall.
LeBron just overall and playmaking and not trying to be. I like that. Shaq, the dominance, the way how he violated certain people. And Tim, you know, when we talk about fundamental and just keeping it simple. Spurs was boring as hell to watch, but they played the basketball. They played the basketball you wanted that you were supposed to play.
Play winning basketball. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you know, when you say greatest players of all time, it's like, how do you slice that? Like, do you rank them by their overall talent? Do you rank them by the impact they had on the game? Do you rank them by who are the 5 players that will give you the best chance to win a game? Right? Like it's so many ways you could do that.
A lot of ways to break it down.
Like, so let's talk about Magic Johnson for a second, right? In terms of accomplishments, Magic Johnson has had definitely a top 5 career from an accomplishment and accolade standpoint, right? 5 championships, all the stuff that happened, all the MVPs and all that stuff. But if you're picking a team of 5 people to win a game, Magic Johnson is way up there for your pick a point guard in terms of how he can elevate a team, right?
Right.
But Kyrie would cook Magic Johnson, right? Like it's no like one-on-one skills.
Yeah, Magic wasn't that great of a defender either.
He wasn't a great individual defender at all, right?
Right. So
it's hard for you to say, okay, top 5 overall players from a talent standpoint. It's hard to put him in a conversation like that. So for me, MJ is my number one for sure. And I'm really kind of going off of a combination of like the impact they had on the game, ability to elevate their teammates, and just their will to win and unstoppableness, right? So if I'm going off of all of that, it's got to be MJ. I'm gonna put Larry Bird in there. Just his will to win, his ability to lift his team. I'm put him in there. I'm putting Shaq in there. Just an unstoppable force. Like hack a Shaq, do whatever you want. It don't matter. Yeah, I'm getting my 28 and 15, and I'm gonna break your backboard while I do it, right? So MJ, Bird, Shaq, Kobe for sure. Just killer instinct, will to win.
Accomplishments.
Just the accomplishments, like everything all together. And honestly, LeBron rounds out my list. Is just for all the hate that he gets, and some of it is deserved because he's called himself the greatest.
Yeah, like he's the only one to really do that. He's the only one that really do that.
That crybaby is definitely deserved. That's my favorite player. I hate when he that crying shit. Just like, man, bro, acting like a bitch, bro.
He's really the only one.
Like, bro, like you're not expecting you coming down. You don't think somebody gonna
But that's
that was a good point though, Ben. He's like the only one to like, well, I'm the greatest. Like nobody, none of the other like greatest players of all time say that. They kind of just let the fans and the media speak for him. Like,
Mike the same question. He said there's different eras for different.
Different eras, and we just added to the painting, right?
Yeah, I respect that.
That's Kobe, same thing. Like, you know, I learned, and so Kobe, yes, he did pattern his game after Mike, but the second half of his career, he started incorporating from other players too. Like he started to incorporate like the pump fake and like different things from like older generation. So same thing.
Right.
But yeah, you talk about overall impact. Yeah, it's MJ, it's Bird, it's Shaq, it's Kobe, and it's LeBron. That would be my top 5 of all time.
I like that list though. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Kobe's my second. He's number 2 on my list, easy. Like if I had to put a number 2 behind Mike, but yeah, I know everybody's gonna have similar players.
I got a quick question I want to ask y'all, bro. What was Shaq really going through back then, bro? To be shattering glass and breaking rims.
I mean, they actually had to like restructure the way they made the fucking backboards and rims because that shit was happening too frequently.
So here's the thing: everything Shaq's entire career will make perfect sense to you if you consider the fact that emotionally he got to age 12 and never got any older.
Right.
To this day, he still behaves like a 12-year-old kid. So 12-year-old you, that is Shaq throughout his entire life.
Yeah, Shaq was ruthless though, man.
Straight violent.
Especially when he got to the Lakers, he was like he went to a whole different. He got bigger. You know, you go back to that Orlando Shaq, he was more nimble, he's more agile. You know, he did more moves in the post, you know, and shit like that. He was a little bit more fluid. But that Laker Shaq, like he was just like, I'm backing you down, putting you up under the rim, and either it's an and one.
My favorite Shaq highlight is when he backed down Chris Dudley and dunked on him and then like pushed him down.
Threw the ball after you. He threw the ball.
I watched that game live. I saw that live.
That's crazy.
I was like, wow. And for
Chris
like
Dudley
months after that, anytime somebody got dunked on, I was like, that dude just got Dudley.
Chris Dudley was fucking trash. I remember watching Chris Dudley with the Knicks.
Push him, bro. It's crazy.
That's what Pippen did that shit to Ewing. Pushed his ass. Yeah. Ewing got mad the same way.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
But that was the era when, like that was what made basketball fun to watch. Like those big dunks and like, you know, and the Starks dunk on like 2 Bulls.
Jordan kind of was in. Jordan was really in there.
He was
too.
Kind of
like,
on the side.
He caught him a little bit.
So one big dunk people don't talk about is Kevin Johnson on Akeem Olajuwon.
Oh yeah, that was
That like
nasty.
he was
That
literally
baseline,
sideways in the air.
sideways. Yep. Yeah,
Like,
that shit was mad.
damn.
KJ was a monster though.
Beast.
With the Sun,
Just a
oh
beast.
my god! I remember I used to play with him on the game. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, Kevin Johnson was a monster, man. He one
That
of them
whole
guys that don't get talked about enough to me.
that whole team, it's sad because there were so many great teams in the 90s that just got
Mm-hmm.
squashed by the Bulls. That 93 Suns team, you
With
talk about
Dan
Barkley,
Marley,
Dan
wasn't Danny
Marley, and
Ainge on that team? Danny
Danny
Ainge on the team
Ainge.
too.
They
Yeah.
had all those role players. They had Kevin Johnson. They had what's the other guy I'm thinking about? Damn it,
Was
he used to
was
do the
was
double pump.
was Cedric Sabalos on that team? I know he was
Cedric
on one of them.
Ceballos. They had Chambers,
Now
Tom
you gotta talk
Chambers.
about
Tom
it.
Chambers, yeah,
Like
the white
that team
boy.
was, yeah, the team was stacked. AC Carr is your enforcer down low, man. That team was stacked, man. But
Yeah,
couldn't beat Jordan.
nah, nobody was beating them.
Can't relate, boy. Too young.
Dude,
Y'all throwing
Get
out
up.
names I don't even know.
That nigga Dan Marley had that shot, boy. I remember I used to play with Dan Marley on the game too. Him and Danny Ainge could shoot too.
oh
Shit.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
never
Danny
miss.
Ainge.
Those are some good games to go back and watch though. Like those,
Hell
like
yeah.
the 93 finals. That's
Like the
an
first finals I
excellent finals.
remember vividly. Like that was literally the first one I remember very vividly. I remember watching like when they played who was the second was it Portland?
They played the
Yeah, it was
Blazers in
Portland because
'93.
they played the Lakers first and then they played Portland.
Hmm.
Yeah. I remember watching that Portland series too when Mike beat them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
93 series was a great series. 97 and 98 with the Jazz.
oh yeah.
Fantastic. That was some, you talking about top notch, fantastic basketball. If you want to go back further, like um 88, the 88 finals, the Pistons and
Pistons.
Lakers,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
talking about
watched
some
all these.
great
I watched
basketball.
all these over time. You know, 88, I was 2 years old, but I went
Yeah.
back and watched all these over time. Like,
Yeah. Or like any of those like Celtics Lakers finals, just dude, they're
Yeah.
We got
electric
some
just because of the
wars.
tension and the rivalry and how much you talking about teams that legitimately hated each other.
hated each other. Yep.
Like we've never seen rivalry like that at professional
No.
level since then
And,
in any
and
sport.
probably won't. And probably won't ever again either. Tell the truth.
Now
Yeah,
you still
man.
see it in college somewhat, but in professional sports, we'll never see rivalry like that.
That's a fact. Yeah, man. But Fly Free Sports, man. We back. Basketball talk, man. Other guys supposed to pull up. You know, we're gonna have a lot of these over the season, man. Have these check-ins or whatever. But man, good talking to y'all, man, about about the game, about y'all expectations, predictions, all that, favorites, rankings, all that, man. That was fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some football shit too, man, eventually.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
that
sounds
needs
good,
to
man.
be talked about as well. But yeah, man, y'all keep it locked with me, man. We're gonna do more of these. Like I said, we're gonna do I'm trying to think of some other things I had written down before, but it's probably unimportant at the moment. But yeah, it was good talking to y'all, man. Fly Free Sports. We up out of here, man. Yes, sir.
Sir.